The world is no longer a unipolar place, and thanks to President Vladimir Putin, the U.S. and the West are no longer going to be the masters of the world. This was stated in an exclusive Voice of Russia interview with the Vice President of the Republika Professor Emil Vlajki. He said the West will align and form alliances with anybody, even with evil, if it is in their national interest to do so, and that there is no morality in their policies. For Ukraine, the U.S. interest is having missiles on Russia's border. As for the current sanctions against Russia, Dr. Vlajki called them ridiculous and said that in reality, it is the Russian Federation who can sanction the West.
VR exclusive.
Hello, this is John Robles. You're listening to an interview with the Vice President of the Srpska Republic, Dr. Emil Vlajki. Hello, sir. How are you this evening?
Very well, thank you.
It's a great pleasure speaking with you. I'd like to get your reaction regarding the reaction from the Russian government to the heavy flooding that's unprecedented in Serbia, in Bosnia-Herzegovina. What's going on there?
It's quite a normal reaction about it. If you need help, somebody's going to help you. And of course, the Russian government never refused to do it.
Okay.
Nothing commercial, it's just a human gesture.
I see. What about the reaction from the European Union?
I don't know almost anything about the reaction of the European Union. I think that Zagreb decided to send some people and some help, but not more than that.
Can you tell us a little bit about the upcoming elections and what's been going on in the Srpska Republic with NGOs, etc., and their attempts to start a color revolution there?
Of course, it's an attempt to replace by somebody else who is probably having deal with the European Union and the United States. Of course, that's it. This is Orange revolution, and it happens in the whole world, everywhere.
Have you been pressured yourself in an attempt to influence your positions or your decisions in government that you can talk about?
No, I don't think so. They cannot do it because I published so many books about the nefast influence of the Western civilization on Serbian people, and I cannot be bought by anybody, and they know it, and they are not going to try it. Of course, my books, for example, American Terror or Demonization of Serbs, Totalitarian Society and Destruction of Yugoslavia, and so on, cannot encourage anybody to change my position.
Wonderful.
VR exclusive.
Can you compare what happened in Yugoslavia with what's going on in the Srpska Republic, in Serbia and Kosovo, and right now in Ukraine, as far as the American operation, if we want to call it that?
Oh, of course. First, they occupied Kosovo, and after that, they took it by Brussels agreement, and Serbs surrendered Kosovo by agreement from Brussels. They believe that giving Kosovo, they are going to become a part of European Union, but of course, it's not true at all.
I have the same belief myself. I mean, that's a lie, but...
That's because the West cannot believe Serbian people, because people from the Western civilization believe that the Serbs are going to always be friends of Russian people, and they don't trust the Serbs. They are going to submit, I don't believe it, or to destroy Serbia. It means that after Kosovo, it could appear the separation of Vojvodina or Sanjak and so on. They are going to arrange it.
I see. So the destruction of Serbia as well.
It's in their timing, of course.
Are they operating on some sort of time frame, because they're trying to do the same thing now to the Srpska Republic, aren't they?
It's a little harder, probably because President Dodik decided to take the Russian way, to pursue the Russian way. He believes that this is the only way for Republika Srpska, and President Dodik has big support by his own people, and it has to be replaced by somebody else in order to change this pro-Russian policy. Speaking
about referendums, Dale, about Kosovo and Crimea in particular, the West made false statements that there was a referendum in Kosovo when they tried to say the referendum in Crimea was illegitimate. Can you comment on that? And is there a possibility of a referendum in the Srpska Republic so it becomes completely independent?
Yes, of course. Logically, it is possible also for Republika Srpska to do it in the same way. But I don't think that it is possible to do it. It is not possible because I don't think that Russia, with its problems with Ukraine now, it is going to help anybody to be engaged to help it. I know it's very difficult to imagine that anybody is going to support the referendum of Republika Srpska for independence. And at this very moment, it is possible only to fortify Republika Srpska, to fortify its position as a kind of semi-independent state. And nothing more than this. It is only possible to fortify the actual position of Republika Srpska, not more than that.
I see.
I don't think so that now a referendum is possible.
I see. Yourself and President Dodik, that's what you're attempting to do.
To tell you the truth, we have all kind of papers ready to proclaim the independent state of Republika Srpska. But it's only our wish. I don't think that there are realistic possibilities to it. I don't think that anybody is going to help us.
I see.
Especially Serbia and so on. I don't think so. If somebody, as Russia, for example, could give us the real promise, the real support very openly, we could do it. But without open support, I don't think so.
I see. I'd like you to comment, if you could, on the so-called, it's the West's favorite phrase, international community. Now, do you see that international community moving away from U.S. hegemony as far as the BRICS countries, the Asian Union, etc.?
Really, I don't know what is the international community. It's international community must be the whole world.
Of
not
course.
Only just a little part of the world.
Of course, of course.
Western civilization pretend that they are international community. It means the United States, Western Europe, Australia, Canada, and so on. But this is only the small part of the international community. And I think that this is not a unipolar world anymore. And now with the appearance of Russia and China and maybe India or Brazil, but at this very moment of China and Russia, they cannot beat the masters, if I can say, of the world. In the last 20 years, they were really masters of the world, but now with Putin, I don't think that it is going to happen anymore.
Just a reminder, you're listening to an interview with the Vice President of the Srpska Republic, Dr. Emil Vlajki.
VR exclusive.
United States, Western Europe, they are masters of the world. But if it is so after Putin, I don't think they are continued.
I see.
It's not possible anymore.
That's good to hear. If I could ask you some questions about Ukraine and the rise of fascism in Europe, the rise of neo-Nazi groups in Europe. The people of the Srpska Republic suffered under Nazism. The people of Serbia, the peoples all over Europe. What is your opinion on the United States using Nazis to form a violent coup d'etat?
They don't care. They don't care, of course, about Nazis in Ukraine or anywhere else. They care only about their national interest. It could be with fascists, with communists, with capitalists, with socialists, with anybody. If it corresponds to their national interest, they are going to make alliance with this kind of people. And of course, in Ukraine, it's a pure fascism, but it corresponds in some way to the Western so-called national interest. They are going to ally with the evil if it is their national interest, that means the interest of the United States. There is no morality in policy.
I see. No morality, you say?
No.
You as a vice president, I'm sure you know more than I do about national interests. What are, in your opinion, the actual national interests of the United States in Ukraine? Is it NATO expansion?
The national interest of the United States, because they are leading the new Cold War against Russia. Their national interest, under quotation, is to put, how to say, odbrambeni štit.
Простите?
Odbrambeni štit.
Oh, okay, the anti-missile shield.
Of course, their national interest is to put the anti-missile shield on borders of Russia in order to menace Russia. That's their interest. And Ukraine have border with Russia, and American national interest is shield in order to threat Russia, and that's it.
What about the energy resources, the territory?
They would like to divide Russia, of course, in order to get some part of territories because of the gas, there is the oil and so on. And natural wealth, they would like to divide it and to get it, of course.
I see.
Their national interest would be also to get a part of Russia, of course. course. But of course it is not possible at all. Because of the smart policy and the courageous policy of Putin, of course.
Yes, I think Putin has done a lot has done everything to protect Russia and the Russian people.
He's a smart person. I think that after Peter the Grand and Katarina and Lenin and Stalin, Putin is a historical person.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
VR exclusive.
The Serbian people, the Ukrainian people, the Russian people, they're all Slavic people. The Slavic people, the Slavs, have never engaged in aggressive war. The Slavs have never engaged in genocide. Is this a war against the Slavic people, do you think? Is this continuation of dividing Ukraine, dividing Russia, dividing Serbia?
I don't think that it is anything against Slavs. They have in NATO, Bulgaria, they have Orthodox country, Greece, and so on.
Okay.
It's just that Russia is the biggest country in the world with so many national resources. That's it.
What is your opinion on the sanctions that the West has waged against Russia?
It's the funny part of the problem. They cannot impose a sanction to Russia. It's ridiculous. It's very funny. It's Russia who has this natural wealth, and Russia is able to sanction Western Europe and even the United States. The contrary is not possible, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I mean, Russia could just turn off the gas. They could just stop the flow of oil.
Yeah, it's not only the gas, many other things, but it doesn't matter. The gas can be enough.
Yeah. Russian politicians also, they thought it was a sign of honor, these sanctions. Everybody laughed at them because, I mean, Russian politicians, they don't have money in foreign accounts and they don't have businesses in America, so the whole thing is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, yes.
Is Europe being hurt more by these so-called sanctions?
Europe is trying to be independent from the United States, but at this very moment it is not quite possible. The interest of Europe, for example, Germany, to be mostly with Russia, more than with the United States. But for some historical reasons, they cannot do it at this very moment.
What would you like to say to the Serbian people who might be listening?
I could say that it is not smart for the Serbian people to enter in any kind of military pact, alliance, or something like that. Also, Serbian people has to pursue an independent economic, cultural policy and so on, and not to belong to the new world order, to the new Cold War against Russia, for example, to be the part of one or the other side. It must be independent. That's my opinion.
I see. You just mentioned a very interesting phrase there, the New World Order. As someone at the top level of government, as a vice president, can you tell us what is that New World Order for people who think it's a conspiracy?
The World Order is the domination of the Western civilization over the whole world. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
It's an American world order.
That's it. It's an American world order.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about the upcoming elections in the Srpska Republic? Because that's, I think, very important for the people.
Dodik is going to be the president, probably, and about parliament, I really don't know. It will be 50-50, but Dodik is certainly going to be the new president.
And what's the path going to be for the first couple of years of the new Dodik administration?
I'm not too sure. It would be very tight.
I see.
He's going to be the president, but about majority, I really don't know.
I see. Can you tell us about a couple of the books you've written?
Oh, my last book. What was my last book? Few of my books written in English and French. For example, the poverty of the world, American terror, demonization of Serbs, the new totalitarian society, and the destruction of Yugoslavia. And I wrote 2 books of poetry.
I see.
The first one, the name is Something Against Globalism. One of the part of this poetry, the name is something similar to Hamlet, to be or not to be. And the other one is Wandering Jew.
Interesting.
My mother was a Jew. My father was a Croat.
I see. Wonderful. Can you tell us one of your poems, or?
Who is going to be interested in my poems?
I am. I'm interested. I'd like to hear something in Serbian.
I don't believe you. You are very... You are very kind, but you are a political journalist.
People are interested in anything vice presidents or presidents do.
If you can read it in Serbo-Croatian, of course, I can send you by email. But my poems are published in Belgrade. One in Zagreb and the other one in Belgrade.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
And sold both of them in 2000. It's a big deal for our little country.
I write poetry myself, so I'm really genuinely interested. I love poetry. It's one of the few beautiful things that humans produce, I think. So, okay, thank you very much, sir. It's been an honor, really.
Thank you very much.
This is John Robles. You were listening to an interview with the Vice President of the Srpska Republic, Dr. Emil Vlajki. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you the best wherever you may be.